Hello Untanglers, I'm doing things a little bit different for your Friday email this week. I realised as I was talking to a client that sometimes the written word isn't always what you need, and sometimes people work better if they hear the information. And I know from you Monday group in the community that you often listen to me while you're doing something else, and that is helpful to you. So I thought this week I'll do things a bit different. I'll do you a video. We said that what we were going to do was I was going to ask you some questions in the community group, and every so often I'd answer some of those questions to give you some free support. So I'm going to do that again this week. So we've got 4 questions that I'm going to try and answer, and I'm going to ramble a little bit, but hopefully it all makes sense and it will help you if you are on your decluttering journey. So welcome to this week's Friday email. So the first question that I got asked is where to start. So you've got 3 different ways of starting. The first one is to go into your home literally from the front door, and imagine that this is the first time you've been into this house. It's not owned by you. To walk in, and what's the first thing you notice, and work on that. Your other options with that are to go in and to look at the first thing that you know annoys you, or the first thing in that room. That's one of the options you could do. So go for the first thing. The second way you can do it is by going for the easy options. So not having a particular plan, not really thinking about what you're doing, not overanalyzing, just grabbing a bag and going around your home and throwing things in it. So if you've got a very full house, this is a really good way to be motivated and start. Just go and grab a bag, grab a bin bag and chuck stuff in it. Grab a charity bag and chuck stuff in it, and go around and find the easy wins that you know you can let things go. So that is option number 2. Option number 3 is the way I have to do things, because I need a plan always. So option number 2 is work on my PAVE system. So that is plan what you're going to do. So look at the areas in your house or the categories that are in your house and write a list. Second bit is action it. So book time into your diary to make sure it actually happens. Maybe if you know that you can't do it, just if you're left alone to do it, grab a friend and say, just sit with me while I go through this stuff, just to support me to make sure it actually happens. Or to make yourself accountable by coming into the group and saying, I'm going to work on this today. Can you make sure that I do it? I'm going to show you the end result at the end, like maybe put a beginning photo in, then maybe an end photo of that area. So it's second thing of my PAVE system is plan, then it's action. So actually do it. What happens in a lot of times is that, for example, if you've got a bag of stuff, a lot of times clients will go into the bag and they'll rummage around to find an item which they're then going to make a decision on. But you're going to make a decision about all the items in that bag. But you're making life difficult for yourself, because what you're doing is you're rummaging around. That's taking time, it's taking brain energy, and then you're grabbing something. You're going to go through all those things in the bag anyway. So you might as well just close your eyes and grab one and then decide on it. And this is when the Ohio method works. So you only handle it once, which is what Ohio stands for. So you're literally grabbing something, deciding on it, staying or going. If it's staying, where's it going to go? And then put that where it's going to go. Don't just go, I know where it's going to go. Because all that will happen is that you'll swap one bag of stuff for a pile of stuff and it'll never go anywhere. So make a decision on it, put it where it's going to go. Then you've got your V of the PAVE system, which is vision. Keep looking back to your vision. So would a load of, I don't know, kids' toys be in your kitchen vision? When you think of your beautiful kitchen and how you want this kitchen to feel, so you want it to feel clean, you want it to feel uncluttered, you want the sides all beautifully done, does that picture in your head of a beautiful kitchen have a box of cars in it, for example? For some people it might, because they want their kids to play in that kitchen. For some, it'd be like no, that's not where kids' toys will be in my vision. So they need to go somewhere else. So keep your vision in mind. And then really importantly is E for your PAVE system, which is exit plans. So exit plan, get it out of the house as soon as possible. Know where it's going to go before you even start. So know which charity shop you're going to take things to. Know when it's open. Know when you can get transport to and from there. Know if you're having a low day and you don't feel like you can leave the house, what other options have you got? Is there anybody you can speak to that would take it for you? So look at your exit strategies. So that's my PAVE system, and I think that works really well for where to start. So you've got 3 options. 1, go in your home as if you were a stranger. 2, don't think, just do. Go for easy wins. Or 3, work on a plan and get a plan of what you're going to do and then go and do it. So there are 3 things for how to start. The second question, excuse me, I got asked. It's not COVID, it's just I can't speak without choking. The second and third question that I've got, I'm going to lump together. So the second question is how to manage to keep decluttering while maintaining the day-to-day stuff without feeling it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. The third question is how to keep momentum going, because I think these 2 work really well together. So to understand where you're at, I'm presuming where you're at if you ask these 2 questions. What happens when you've got a really full and cluttered house? If you think of it as a line, so you've got a cluttered house and then you've got an uncluttered, beautiful home that you can reset every night and everything's perfect. Where you get stuck and where you lose momentum is about in the middle. So you start off all guns blazing, really fired up, really motivated. You feel the benefit because you can see things clearing, you're getting more space, it's all going wonderfully. You're doing the obvious clothes, you're doing the obvious papers, you're doing the obvious books, all the obvious categories you're doing and you're feeling brilliant. Then maybe life happens, work gets busy, or you get poorly, or school holidays happen, or kids have to, or you have to isolate, or whatever happens. Some things always happen. Life just gets in the way, doesn't it? Life gets in the way and you no longer have a plan of what to do next. There's no obvious category to go to next. When those happen, that's when you lose your motivation. You lose your momentum and you're not quite sure what to do next. And you know what I'm like with a plan, I always need a plan. If I haven't got the next step to go for, I'll faff around for ages not really knowing what I'm doing and a bit aimless. That's probably where you're at. So the main thing is to keep the momentum going is, first of all, have a plan. So if it's not obvious categories anymore, you need to then create mini categories that maybe aren't really obvious. So it might be like random electricals or items on this shelf that were just shoved there because there was nowhere else to put them. You might have to do this more on the spaces, so where things are and why they're not where they're meant to be because they haven't got a home. It's those little bits that just mean the house doesn't look gorgeous because you've just got random stuff that haven't got a home, and that's the hardest part. And to keep decluttering while maintaining the day-to-day stuff, feeling like it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back, is to realise that actually sometimes it does look worse before it gets better because you've been moving things around your home as you've been decluttering. So you will start to get more targeted areas that get full up, and they're the ones that you need to work on next. Or look at those hot spots that pop up where you get more stuff coming in and you're like, but I cleared that space once, and more stuff comes in. That's the next thing to work on. Well, why has that ended up back there? These are things that haven't got homes. These are the categories I need to go back to either declutter again and be more ruthless, or realise that the home that we've put them isn't working because people aren't putting them back where they should do. Why aren't they putting them back there? Is it too difficult, for example? Are there some barriers to putting it away? Like it's not easy to get to that shelf, or they've got to open a box to put things away. What are the barriers? The other thing to keep maintaining and decluttering is to set time aside in your diaries and make it a priority still. So to make sure that you have booked it in, you've made it non-negotiable, and even if it's just 20 minutes, twice a week, to make sure you'll keep moving forward. With this, it's quite useful to do before and after photos. So take a photo of the room and look at it as an observer and then point out, well, in my vision of how this room should be, because it's not quite perfect yet, this wouldn't be here, this wouldn't be here, this wouldn't be here. And this is where you might have to go back and revisit categories, because you maybe weren't, these might have been categories that you did right at the beginning of your journey. Now you've flexed your decision-making muscles and they've got a lot better. So you might need to go back to those categories and be more ruthless to create more space to fit other things into those spaces. So that is what I would say about that one. And the final question that I got asked was how to be consistent with systems. Now, my PAVES system is PAVES, PAVES, which is plan, action, vision, exit plans, strategies and systems. Now, this is the last thing that you do. The strategies and systems, try saying that with teeth in, are quite difficult to keep going if you're trying to do more than one at once. And also, while you're still living in clutter, it is very difficult to keep those systems going. So you need to make them as simple as possible and as easy as possible, and only get one system started at a time. So you might need to start just one system, and that's when you need to build it into habit stacking. So listen to James Clear, the Atomic Habits book. Either listen to it on Audible. I'm sure if you googled it, you'll be able to find it like on YouTube for free or something like that, or follow him on social media, and I'm sure he gives some tips that you can pick up. But you need to habit stack. So you need to find one tiny bit of that system and attach it to something that you already do every day. Or for example, for me, my habit stack is every day I make myself a cup of tea. The first thing I do before I can even function is make myself a cup of tea. So my habit stack with that is, while the kettle is boiling and I'm waiting, I empty the dishwasher. And at night, I set the dishwasher running before I go to bed. You don't have it running when I'm in bed, because I worry about fires, for example. But I make sure that in the morning it's ready for me to empty, because if I don't empty it in the morning, then the kitchen sides get cluttered really, really quickly, and my kitchen looks a tip, and then I don't want to even look in my kitchen. I don't want to cook in my kitchen, and it all just looks like hard work. But throughout the day, if the dishwasher is empty, I know that I keep putting things in it throughout the day, the kitchen stays nice. So my habit stacker is, I always have a cup of tea. The kettle will always boil. It always takes X amount of time. So I habit stacked and added emptying the dishwasher onto that. You need to do that for about 30 days to get your brain into the habit. So every single day, do this habit, which is attached to another one that you already do. Attach one habit at a time. Once you've got that habit sorted, you then find another habit. So once I'd got that sorted, I noticed that the kitchen was clear most nights, apart from those things I've got to hand wash. So then I habit stacked before going to bed, making sure that the hand wash stuff had to be cleaned and either just put on the side or put away. And then I could clean. So that was the next one, which was making sure that the pots were washed before I went to bed. I then added another one on once I'd got my head around that one, and that became second nature, which was cleaning the kitchen sides before I went to bed. So all those things were like more than one habit, but I only did one habit stack at a time, made sure it was embedded before I started a new one. So you need to look at the habits that you want to break in, the systems that you want to bring into your home, and put them into the little steps. And it may sound really silly to only do one little step part of it, but if you go full blast and do them all together, you'll maybe do it for a few days, then you'll have a busy day or a crappy day, and it'll all fall to pieces again. So that's why it's really important to find the minute little stacks, the little habits to add, and they will all stack up. So there you go. That is our Q&A for today. I've rambled on for 15 minutes nearly. So that is today's email. If you prefer to have your emails in a video format or an Audible format, can you email me back and let me know? Also, if you prefer to just have a regular email where I type out something to you, can you let me know? So can you please email me back if you've got this far and let me know which do you prefer, which do you like? At the minute, I'm thinking we'll do a bit of both, see how we feel, but I'd really like your feedback on that. So I hope you have a lovely weekend. Happy Friday. This is your Friday email. Take care. Bye-bye.